Good day all, welcome back to South African Prepping channel. So today we're going to be discussing sections or categories of prepping things that a prepper should think of and should be prepping for. So we've made a list of categories that we think people should pay attention to. What we've done is we have compared our list with countries in America and Canada and Australia and Europe, and we had to change this list around, or the categories around, a little bit because our situation in South Africa is far different than, let's say, America or Canada or Australia or then Europe. And the reason for that being is that us being white minority South Africans living in Africa, we obviously stand out like a sore thumb. So I've made a priority list, and this is the list that we ourselves prep according to, and we use this list quite often to refresh and see what we could obtain or buy extra to make life a little bit easier should South Africa collapse or should South Africa fall into a state of total anarchy. So number one on the list for today is shelter. So you can look at various things for shelters. You can look at tents or camping trailers. We've even stored up extra tarps, 2x3. Well, you get various sizes of tarps, and tarps you can pretty much use for anything. And then we've included very small tents, very inexpensive, 300-400 rands worth of tents in our bug-out bags, for an example. So the second thing which is extremely important for us on our list for preparing or prepping in South Africa is security. And with security we have added radios and communication as well. Now if you look into security, currently in South Africa, legal gun owners are being attacked quite harshly by the police minister. So self-defense in South Africa for us as white minority is extremely important. We're not going to go into this now because of the current state of the police minister attacking us on security. But on security, we have legal firearms, we have body armor, we have radio communication within our groups, and we've slotted ourselves into prepping a community and groups whereby which we communicate with each other as well, should the time come that we need to bug in or bug out. Our next category is water. You can only survive without water for about 3 days. You can survive without food for about 3 weeks. So next on our category list is food. One of my previous videos we discussed 10 major food items that every South African prepper should have or stockpiled. Our next on our category list is transport. So this is very important. If you look at the situation in South Africa, you will notice that around every city in South Africa or small town, there's always an informal settlement. And this informal settlement normally has anything from 10,000 people to the smaller towns, 20,000-30,000 people, to where in the bigger cities you have millions of people living in informal settlements around these big cities, and they could possibly at any given time, when something goes wrong, they could cut you off. And in South Africa, our protesters have shown us how to cut off roads and how to protest on roads. So that has all been, I call it an exercise to show us what they are capable of doing. So transport is extremely important. You need to have reliable transport. You need to be able to have enough diesel for that vehicle, or petrol for that vehicle, because you never know if you need to pack up your car or your bakkie or your caravan or your trailer to actually save your family's life. So next on the list after transport is medical. So medical kits, for shorter periods, smaller medical kits, larger medical kits, should the situation in South Africa become permanent. We're not going to go into medical kits because that's a total topic on its own, but make sure that you do have smaller medical kits in your vehicle, in your house, and maybe bigger ones with your bigger prepared stored up things. The next category we have is kit, or I have written it down as gear, or a bug out bag. Now most preppers do know bug out bags. A bug out bag is basically a bag that's got a whole lot of things in for you to survive for 2 to 3 days. Now again, this is a category on its own. We won't go into it on detail just now. We'll make a separate video regarding a cheap South African bug out bag and what we have in our bug out bags. The next on my list is power. So we all know the situation in South Africa regarding Eskom. Once Eskom goes down, we will start losing our fresh produce, our fresh meats, and most of the food in our houses will then go off. So power is extremely important, especially if it comes to powering your cell phone maybe, or your radios for communication. That's fairly important for us as well. And then the next one on our list is other people. So what we've done is we have slotted into a prepping community group, probably the biggest group in South Africa. And in this group, we have different skills of people, we have different mindsets of people, but we have all got the same goal, and that is to survive the coming anarchy or the collapse in South Africa. So these are like-minded people. Most of them in our groups have got radios as well. We often do radio tests, and this is obviously all legal now. And we share ideas. We go on camps together. We get to know each other, because in time of anarchy, for me to protect my family 24/7 alone would most possibly be impossible. So other people in the community is of a great asset. And then the last thing we have on our list is seeds, specifically heirloom seeds. Now this is for when anarchy or the collapse of South Africa becomes a permanent thing, like in Zimbabwe, where our farmers will stop producing, supply chains will be disrupted, imports will be disrupted because of the collapse of South Africa, and you need to be able to feed your family. So we have a big emphasis in our groups on heirloom seeds, so we can actually produce some food or extra food should the situation in South Africa become permanent. If you like this video, please like it, big thumbs up. Okay, subscribe, there's a subscribe icon, and please share this with like-minded people in South Africa so we can get the word out, because the more of our people that are prepared, the more will survive the coming anarchy and the collapse of South Africa, and the better, stronger future or new future we can build for our people in South Africa.